Modify and apply Civil 3D styles. After completing this video, you will be able to identify how to apply Civil 3D styles to 3D objects, recall how to add additional data to a Civil 3D label style, modify and apply Civil 3D styles for labels and objects, recognize the ways Civil 3D styles can be accessed and managed, renumber tag labels using appropriate Civil 3D tools, and modify a label's association to a different object. Styles are the heart of Civil 3D. Every Civil 3D object, including surfaces, alignments, profiles, pipe networks, and more, has a style that controls how it displays in plan, profile, or section views. To apply a new style, you'll simply select an item. Then, on its contextual ribbon, you'll go to the object's properties. The Information tab will allow you to change the style as you see fit. It will change what displays and what layers each object goes on. If I took a look at this surface style, for instance, on the Settings tab under Surfaces and then Surface Styles, I'll right-click on the Contours and Triangles style and click Edit. The Display tab is what determines what is visible in each view. The view direction can be set to the plan view, the model view, and the section view. And this one style can be used to display different components according to what view you're looking at it in. If I change it to the model view, you'll notice that only the triangles appear because everything else would be turned off. And the triangles would be on a tin view layer. When I change it to a plan view, the triangles, borders, major and minor contours would all be turned on, and they would go to their respective layers. Alternatively, you can select an object, right-click, and go to the regular AutoCAD properties. In the AutoCAD Properties palette, you can select the style that you wish to use for that object. And as soon as you select it, you'll notice it changes in the background. You'll notice, though, that I have labels on my alignment. These labels are controlled by a set of labels. On the Settings tab, when I expand alignments, you'll notice that I have label styles and I have label sets. Label sets combine multiple labels together, where a style will only modify one label type. For instance, if I wanted to add a station offset label, I can right-click on the station offset and select New. Here, I might give it my station and elevation. Then, on the Layout tab, I'll tell it exactly what I want to see. There are multiple components often with one label. You'll notice this one is the station offset, and it includes a lot of information such as the alignment, the station, the offset, the northing and easting. If I'd like to change what components appear, I'll click in the Contents field and click the ellipsis to open its content box. Here, I'll erase anything that I don't want to see. So I do want my station and my offset, but I don't need my northings and eastings. Then I can click OK. That gives me my station and offset information, but I call this my station and elevation style. If I'd like to have it reference another item, such as a surface, I can add reference text to it. So next to the component name, I'll click the option to add components, and I can add everything from text to lines to blocks and even reference text. You'll notice the different types of items that can be referenced, the surface being one of them. I'll select the surface and click OK. Then I'll give it a name. I tell it how to anchor it. So rather than anchoring it to the feature, I'm going to anchor it to the existing text that's already in this style. And the anchor point, I'm going to make the bottom left. So it anchors itself to the bottom left of that original piece of text. And on the attachment, I'm going to make that the top left so that it aligns right underneath and on the left side. The next thing I'll do, you'll notice it still has question marks. I need to actually tell it what I want to reference. So in the contents area, I'll click the label text and click the ellipse to open the label text box. For the properties, I'll give it the surface elevation, set the units that I want to use, the precision that I want it to come in on, and the rounding factor and other features. When I have it looking just the way I want it, I'll move it to the box using the arrow. You'll notice it still has label text in here. I can just highlight that and delete it. Then I can type in ELEV, colon, and a space. That information is going to stay as question marks until I tell the software what surface I want to reference when I use this specific label. So let's see how that works. When I'm ready to use that label, I'll go to the Annotate tab, Labels and Tables panel, and click on the icon above Add Labels. This brings up the dialog box that allows me to select the type of label I want to use. I added an alignment label, so I'll select it. Then I'll select the label type. Mine happens to be a station offset label type. And next I'll select the style. I'll choose the one with the station and elevation and decide if I want a specific kind of marker to go with that. When I click Add, it's going to have me select the alignment, then set the station that I want to set it at, and the offset value where I want that marker to fall. And while I'm still in the command, it asks me for the surface for the elevation component. So I'll select that surface, and it will add my elevation to the label. If I need to move that label, I can select the item and use the diamond grip to move it where it needs to go. You'll notice that as I move it, it gives me an update of what that elevation is at that point. Alternatively, if I needed to see the existing ground elevation rather than the finished ground elevation at that point, I can select that label and click on the Properties option. And in the Properties palette, I'll select the reference item that I want it to go to. Using the drop-down, I'll select the existing ground rather than the finished ground, and you'll notice the elevation change. I can also change the marker style by selecting the marker style drop-down, then selecting the type of marker I would like. And then I'll close the Properties palette and press Escape. If you have tags in the model, you can rename and renumber those tags as you see fit. So let me actually bring some tags in for this alignment. So I'm going to add multiple segment labels for this alignment. Now that my alignment is labeled, I may want to change those labels into tags to clean up my drawing a little. So on the Annotate tab, I'll add tables. It will be for my alignment and the segment table. It's going to allow me to select the items, and so I'll select all of my items. I'm going to purposely grab them out of order. When I'm done, I'll press Enter, and it will allow me to convert all of those to tag mode. I'll set the table settings that I want and click OK. While my table is showing lines and curves together, I may not want them in that exact order. You'll notice that L6 is here and C5 is here. If I'd like to rename or renumber those, I can select the tag and on the contextual ribbon click Renumber Tags. It's going to give me a warning saying that the tag number 1 is currently being used. I'll create a duplicate of that and it will change it to L1. I'll press the Escape key and go to the next one and renumber that tag and create a duplicate for that one as well. So now I have L1 and C1. And I'll keep going around doing that for each one. The next tag number is 2, so I'll create a duplicate of that one. So now I have L1, L2, and C1. Next is my C2, so I'll select it, renumber my tag, and create a duplicate for that. And I'll keep going around until all of my tags are renumbered and renamed